Peace everyone, Unmasked here, and welcome to day 22 of Inktober. Today's prompt is expensive, and the first idea that came to mind is the idea I went with, and that is to do some gold bars. So I figured it's appropriate for the word. It's going to be a bit of a challenge. Gold is one of those colors that just often eludes people because it's not quite yellow, it's not quite orange, it's a little bit of brown. It's got all these unique colors to create that reflective look and have that quality of gold. So that's going to be the challenge for myself today, and hopefully you might learn something about coloring gold. Anyways, I am going to try to say hello to everybody in the chat. You guys must have been hanging out for quite some time before the stream started because the chat is already like super long. So let me start off by sharing some of your lovely pieces of Inktober creations that you did for yesterday's prompt, which was Drain. I did some lips, some vampire lips with the fangs for yesterday's prompt, and you guys came up with some fun, unique ideas. The one sewer with the rat, that's very adorable. And a few of you even did the literal drain, like in a sink or a bathtub, which is an interesting take. It's very straightforward, which is kind of what I'm doing today. So you guys did an excellent job. So thank you so much for sending in those Inktober drawings because they're really, really cool. Anyways, I'm gonna try to say hello to everybody. Let me just say hello Gina, Cece, Barbara, Misty, Carlos, Sneaks, Kathleen. I'm gonna try not to miss anybody. Wicked Illusions, I see you as well. Mindy, Gihan, missing Chrissy, I see you. Alicia, Yanek, Min, I think you might be new to the stream, so hello, thank you for coming. Stacy, Virginia, Pumpkin Spice, hopefully I didn't miss anybody. Oh, I see you, Shiny, Nunez, Nicole, and Christy. Thank you all so much for coming by. Hopefully we'll have some fun today. I'm gonna just go ahead and jump right into coloring my gold bars, and I'm just going to do one at a time. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me and I will do my best to answer them. Oh, thank you, Nunez. I really appreciate that. I'm going to start off with a very common yellow color for my gold bar here. The one thing with gold is that it actually doesn't have as much yellow as you would think. It kind of has a lot of yellow in the highlights, but it turns brown really fast, and I think that's what a lot of people miss when they're working with gold material, is that they rely a bit too heavily on the yellow that they perceive the gold to be. And don't get me wrong, gold has got plenty of yellow in it. Even the browns are more of a brownish yellow, but there's a lot of colors. I've got 10 colors here of markers, and hopefully I can get this gold bar looking as shiny as I did the lips I did yesterday. Oh, hello Tatiana, good to see you. I'm going to just do a quick little base of this yellow. What are some of the ideas you guys came up with for today? I think the original, the very first idea that kind of popped in my head was doing like a gem, like a precious gem or a jewel or something like that. But I've done a lot of those in the past, and they're not the most exciting subjects for me to do, since I have done several of them. So I decided You know what? I've never drawn gold bars before, so I'm just gonna go for that. And here we are, me drawing gold bars. Bringing in a little bit more orange now. Art products are expensive. Oh my gosh, yes, another idea. It was going to be actually somewhat of a joke considering the conversations that we've had about my markers. And if anybody asks what my markers is during this stream, I imagine most of you will be able to answer that question for me. But if anybody is wondering right now, they're Pantone Tria markers by Letraset, and you cannot buy them anymore. But I was actually going to color I was going to actually draw a marker, but it was going to be a Copic marker because they're so expensive, and we've been kind of talking about getting them, and I thought it'd be funny to draw a Copic marker with the markers that I currently own. And I actually, this morning I got on Jackson's Art Supplies website and put a bunch of stuff in my shopping cart that I wanted to order, and the total was right around $1,100 or $1,200, and I was like, oh gosh, I just can't do it. I just can't click purchase. I just can't do it. I have to give it some time. I think the most I've ever spent in a single like online art shopping spree was probably around $450. And I think I got just like a bunch of paper and some paint and pastels and all kinds of other stuff. Can't even remember right now, but it was a lot of stuff, and probably had more justification for it then than I do now. Great to hang with some cool people. Yes, definitely. That's what I love about the live streams. I started making a detail of my harp. There's a lot of gold in it, so I'm actually curious how I am handling the gold. The way that I am approaching it, that you see right now, is I started with my bright yellow, brought in some of my oranges and my light brown. This is a light brown color here, and I am going to be moving on to another brown, 464, maybe, if I can find it. Here we go. That's right. A bit of gray. There's a bit of gray that I also need to use. I'm gonna get this edge of the gold bar here. It was difficult for me to find a reference photo that I liked of gold, because a lot of the gold bars aren't like smooth. They're not like mirror smooth. They usually have some kind of texture to them, kind of rough texture that I wanted to avoid. I wanted to do like the mirror finished gold. I thought it'd be more fun to do, so it took me a little while to find a reference photo that I could appreciate. Alright, now I got that brown edge. I got a little bit of grayish color on the face of this that I need to add in. Books and art supplies are my vice rather than shoes and clothes like most girls. Yeah, I think that might be the case for many of the girls that follow me on YouTube here. I think we all kind of have a slight issue with the art supplies when it comes to purchasing them, and choosing that probably over other important things that we could buy. I was looking at my shopping cart, and this was the thought that had come into my head. So I've been pretty bad about visiting my family for the past, like, I don't know, 11, 12 years. Because when I joined the military, you know, I lived in a different state, lived all the way across the country, and I didn't get to see my family all that often. Sometimes it would just be a year in between visits, and sometimes it was as much as 2 years. And I don't like it. I do not like it at all, having that large amount of time in between visits. And my plane ticket's usually around $1,000, regardless of where I'm flying from. And also flying from Poland, it's about $1,000. And so I was looking at my shopping cart, and the total price of, you know, $1,200 or whatever, and I was like, man, that's a plane ticket home. Like, that was my mindset. I was like, you know I need these things. I need these art supplies. I do this for a living, so it's hard for me to not justify doing or buying them. So it was rather tough. And that's the problem that I often face when it comes to buying art supplies, is that I have that feeling of, you know, I could use this money to go visit my family. So I'm gonna try to be better about visiting my family. I think that I've gotten to the point where twice a year is totally manageable financially. So I think that's what I'm gonna try to do, and then I won't feel as bad when I have to buy a bunch of art supplies. Yeah, isn't it interesting? People spend money on dumb stuff when they don't know about art supplies, like having a pool and buying chlorine for the pool. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, the things we spend our money on, you know, sometimes it's just funny. I think I have a little extra spending money on art supplies because I don't have a smartphone, so I don't pay for a data plan or expensive phones when new ones come out or anything like that. And if you think about it, if you have a smartphone and you're spending, let's just keep it simple and say you're spending $100 a month for your data plan, which is, I bet a lot of you that have smartphones and have families with smartphones, you're probably wishing that it was only $100 a month. But let's just say $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year for just your phone data, right? Let's say you like to have a good smartphone, and let's just make it $500. And I'm sure most of you are wishing that your smartphones were only $500. So it's $1,700 a year. That's a lot of art supplies that I could definitely be buying instead. And I think that I probably am buying about that much, if not more, in art supplies. I could go through, because I use PayPal to buy all my art supplies. That's how I usually do it. And so I could literally just go through and kind of collect the data and see. I wish my brother thought that way. He moved to Texas with the Air Force and made it his permanent location. Your family will surely be glad to see you. Yes, yes. I'm always glad to see my family too, and you know, sometimes I have really hard times because I miss my family so much, which is kind of funny because my family is we tend to be very emotionally independent of each other. My family, we were just raised that way, to not rely on anybody to make ourselves happy. So being apart is something that we've never really had to struggle with, but we do now that we're older. I think that we do. But when we were younger, it wasn't much the case. But now that I'm older and everybody is older, I go through periods of time where it's like I just want to see my family, like, and now is definitely been that time. So I really look forward to being back there for a couple weeks. We are so behind at the times because me and the hubs refuse to pay $900 for an iPhone and data. Yeah, I've showed my phone off before. I often claim that this is how I get work done because this is my phone. The phone's like $5, and I probably spend... Actually, my wife is always buying minutes for me, but I mean, I'm lucky to go through $5 a month. Like, if I could usually make it through a month without my wife buying me any minutes whatsoever, and then she'll buy like $5 worth of minutes, and that will last me like 2, maybe 3 months. So it's ridiculously cheap. That's all I can really say about it. It's just ridiculously cheap, and I don't have any use for a smartphone. I really do not. I've wanted one, you know, I've wanted a smartphone because I like what they can do for you. You know, maybe you're out in a city that you're unfamiliar with, and you're like, oh, let's find a place to eat. Well, you can't really find a place to eat just by walking around and looking. Well, you can, but you know, you gotta walk around and look for it. Whereas on a smartphone, you just look it up and be like, oh, let's go here. Get directions, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. That's about the extent of smartphone use. What color did I use here? 141. I keep forgetting which colors I was using. Was I using 134? I can't remember. I have all these very similar colors that I keep going back and forth with, that I keep forgetting which ones that I was using and where. I love visiting my bro, but it's so hard to say goodbye. Flights aren't cheap. I only see him once every 2 or 3 years. Yeah, I could imagine that's not easy. The goodbyes are definitely the low part of any visit that I make with my family. That is for sure. Even sometimes the hellos are are hard to take. Because fortunately, it hasn't been too long this time around. You know, I was back there in this past July, so it wasn't that long ago that I was visiting with them. But a lot has happened since that visit, and yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to see him under the new circumstances, but I can't wait. Your gold bar is turning out awesome. Oh, well, thank you, Stacy. I appreciate that. Feel like I still got a million miles to go, but I'm just gonna keep plugging away at this gold bar until it turns into gold. Do a tiny bit of outlining here. I wish that I could get these markers to be just a tiny bit thinner. Just the tiniest bit thinner would be super perfect, because there is a subtle outline where the gold bar starts to curve at the corners. It's all smooth and rounded around the corners, and that sometimes it's hard to replicate because the lines are supposed to be real thin and stuff. I can't believe how fast those markers worked to make that look like. Well, I think it's partially the operator of the markers, but I could be wrong. Now I'm going to go in with a bit of dark brown. This is what's going to help that gold look much, much more shiny. Similar to yesterday's drawing with the lips, I was talking about how to get things to look shiny, you have to go dark where things are dark. And that definitely holds true with the gold as well. So I have to go really dark where things go dark. And once I get some of these dark colors laid down, I think the gold is going to look even better. Think of my bro every day. Let's get that gold to come to life, and I'll just come build a yurt. A yurt? The heck is a yurt? yeah. Let's convince. I'll just take a picture of this drawing and I'll sell it on eBay, and I'll be like, gold bars for sale, and they're 1 kilo a piece. I don't know how much a kilo of gold is worth. It's probably, I don't know, maybe around $4,000. I have no idea. I have no idea. I think it's weird. I think it's completely weird that a substance like gold is even worth anything at all. Because if you think about it, it makes 0 sense. Like, what can gold even be used for that is necessary in life? Really, what gold literally does nothing. And it's funny. It's funny that it's worth anything, because it was like a rare commodity, like a million years ago in human history, and now it's not even rare. Like, gold is not even a rare material. It's just like diamonds. Like diamonds are not actually rare. It's artificially rare. Gold is just artificially as rare as diamonds. Got these giant rich companies that hold on to this precious material. They control the supply in the market and then jacks up the prices. Same thing with oil. They do the same thing with oil, but it's a bit more obvious with things like gold and diamonds. Which markers would I recommend someone who wants to try them for the first time, and how big of a set? If you really want to keep it like sort of simple with markers, if you want to keep it like extra safe with markers, I would recommend getting the warm or neutral or cool set of Copic gray tone markers. I think there's like 10 in a set or something like that, and like I said, they have like the warm gray, they have the cool gray, and they have the neutral gray. Just pick one. Just pick one of those sets, and you can try out markers without the anxiety of dealing with color, because color, I feel like a few colors of any marker is just a waste of money, because you wouldn't be able to do something like this with a few colors. Because their blendability is fine. It's not as blendable as like a smaller set of colored pencils, in my opinion. So I would say just stick with the gray tones. It's not going to cost you a lot of money, and you're still going to get the full, like, you're still going to get the full marker experience in the sense of how they work, what they look like, and you can do some monochromatic drawings to test your blending skills and get good at your marker control and all of that. That's really what I suggest. And if you're gonna buy markers, just go with what you know for sure to be very good markers. Because I've spent a couple $100s on markers in the past that were extremely disappointing. They did not work. The colors were hideous, oversaturated, and there was no value ranges. So if you want to play it safe, if you want to get started with markers, then the gray tones Copic sketch is going to be budget friendly. It's not going to be like $100 or anything like that. You're going to get 10 markers that you're going to be able to use for a really long time, and that they'll be a good addition to any other markers that you buy, because you always need to use grays. I'm using 3 different grays to do this, because layering the gray over top of some of the yellow allows me to create the subtle value changes. So the grays are invaluable, and I think that they're the safest bet when it comes to getting markers, to get started with them, at the very least to get started with them. Let's see. Gold looks awesome. I love the shading and blending. Well, thank you very much, Debbie. I do appreciate that. I would also love to win the lottery. I don't play the lottery, but my wife does. I would love for her to win the lottery, and essentially it'd be me winning the lottery. I refuse to pay thousands for a good phone. I use prepaid. Yeah, I just can't justify the purchase either. Do you keep your dry markers and use them for blending? I keep them because I don't want to throw them away. I feel really bad. So ease into it before purchasing a whole bunch of colors. Thank you for the advice. Yes, absolutely. Not a problem. I always see, I've always been a very budget artist myself. I've never really wanted to spend money on art supplies. I always held back for the longest time on buying anything expensive. I mean, goodness gracious, I was working with colored pencils for 2 years. For 2 years before I ever bought any other colored pencils. The very first set of colored pencils that I bought was the 72 pack. Just the 72 pack, not the whole 150 pack of the Prismacolor pencils. And I worked with that pack of 72 for 2 years before I ever bought any other pencils. I didn't even replace any of those 72 pencils. I used that pack of 72 for 2 years straight, coloring all kinds of stuff, until I finally was like, okay, maybe I can justify getting the Luminance pencils, and I finally did. So it was well deserved. I went 2 years, and so I think that yeah, I'm very budget when it comes to my art supplies. I don't like spending money on art supplies. It's just, yeah, hard to justify it sometimes. But I eventually break down and do it. I've gotten a little bit less budget over the years. Since I do this professionally, I kind of can't afford to stay super budget, but I still am. I would still consider myself fairly budget. Budget for a professional, I guess. Did I really use the wrong marker there? I did, didn't I? Use the wrong color marker for this area. It's supposed to be darker. Do I have problems with them breaking, being warped, and some of the other problems people are having with Prismacolors now? Prismacolors has always been, you know, a slightly troublesome. You know, they've always had a few quality control issues with their pencils, but to be honest with you, it's exaggerated a lot. You know, people love to hate on Prismacolor pencils. They just, I think it's officially an artistic hobby for anybody that is into colored pencils. They just love hating on poor little Prismacolors. The truth is that yes, there are quality control problems with Prismacolors, but it is not debilitating. What I mean by that is it does not stop you even for a second to create wonderful artwork. So for me, Prismacolors are still my all-time favorite pencil, all-time favorite colored pencil, because they allowed me to progress significantly through the years of using them, and it never once, you know, their quality issue that people scream and holler about, never once held me back. So even though they do have their issues, it's not bad enough to avoid them. I have like 400 Prismacolor pencils. and I can assure you that there is not enough wrong with them within those 400 pencils that I have that would prevent me even for a second from buying them again. Oh, okay, Chrissy, thank you for coming by. You sleep well, and I'll see you next time. Yeah, see, Christine agrees with me. She knows what I'm talking about. Prismacolors are still the best. Oh, thank you, Wicked Illusions. Glad you're liking the gold bar so far. I think I'm going to move on to the next stack of gold bars here. I wasn't really sure how long this particular drawing was going to take. The lips seemed to take quite a bit. I think it was like around an hour and a half or something for yesterday's stream, so I really have no idea how long this project here is going to take. Since the reflections and the gradients are a bit more straightforward, there's no texture really, so this one might actually end up taking less time than yesterday's stream. But I promise not to rush it, so don't worry. Which brand is your favorite for white pencil? Luminance. Luminance, they are super expensive, but gosh, I love the colors. Luminance, they only have 72. 72? 7, 6. 6 times 72, whatever. 74, maybe. 74 colors, which is, you know, a little less than half of Prismacolors, but my goodness, they must have like really narrowed down all the colors in existence to those 74 colors, because they are the 74 best colors that they could. They do lack something. I always forget what it is that Luminance is missing. Oh, Luminance misses a true brown. That's one thing, like a like this, like that color of brown. They just don't have it, and sometimes that drives me crazy. But there are other colors. I like their desaturation in their colors. It just appeals to me because I do a lot of realistic colored pencil drawings, and I cannot stand polychromos because their colors are so oversaturated, and they have the same middle range value in their color with like every single color, and it drives me absolutely crazy. And I never ever recommend those pencils to anybody because of that reason. That's starting out. I mean, obviously they're still good pencils, and you should probably look into getting them if you're an experienced artist, but not if you're starting out. I think they're the worst beginner pencils that you could ever get, and the Luminance, they just have such great middle of the road values with their colors and saturation levels. So it just makes it super easy to create with them. Yeah, Luminance is missing a bit of cheapness, but their level of quality is really high. Your colored pencil course is on my written in stone must-have list. Well, I would recommend holding off buying my courses for probably another month or so. I was talking about this a few streams ago. I think it was a few streams ago. Honestly, I couldn't tell you if it was or not. But I'm going to be changing. I'm going to be changing like my courses, and I'm going to just make them all $10. So in about a month, all of my courses are just going to be $10, and I'm going to start releasing some more courses next year. I'll probably do some like animal portraits, colored pencils, and pastels. And I'm going to just make my courses $10. No matter what the length, they always float around like the 6-hour mark. I'm not going to drop in quality or anything like that, but you know, I said it multiple times. I don't do this for the money because that would be retarded, because I barely make any. But I want art to be accessible to as many people as that I can make it accessible for, and I think that it's a fair price. I think it's a fair price for my courses. You know, I make them myself, and I do my best to make them a high quality. And for those of you that have taken my course, I think you can attest to my quality in my courses, and I want to put more of them together. I want to put more of them together, and I want them to just be more available for everybody on a financial level. I know that the supplies that I use are not always the most inexpensive, especially if you're younger, and you just kind of want to start off with a medium, say pastels or colored pencils or something like that. But I always recommend the full set of Prismas, and that's going to set you back $100 in most cases, close to $100. And you know, I don't want to then have a colored pencil course that is like $40 or $50 or $60 on top of that. If I'm recommending those pencils, you know, I want you to be able to have those pencils and then also have the course. So next year I plan on kind of revamping my website. I'm working with a friend right now. He codes for a living, and he's gonna, well, at least he better. He's gonna help me make my website a bit more accessible and user friendly, I guess. And I don't know if I have a lot of people that struggle with the downloads of my course because they are rather large files, and I'm just not sure how. I'm really just not sure how to make that easier. So I'm going to work with him and see if I can see if I can't get the courses to be a little easier for people to download and to use and all of that. Do I have prints for sale? No, I do not have prints for sale, and I most likely won't for some time. I would like to. The truth is, I don't create any art that's worth putting on prints. I haven't for a long time. I could always sell prints of some of my more popular works that are probably worth putting on prints, but I do not want to go through a third-party site. If I sell prints, I'm going to sell it through my own website, which means I need to do the shipping. And I don't have a good place to get them printed right now. So there's a lot of things that will go into whether or not I start doing prints. I don't have a lot of demand for my prints, although I imagine partially because I don't advertise selling any or anything of that nature. So I don't know. Prints are pretty far off into the future. It's not something that I much concerned myself with. It would be a good addition to my sources of income, but one of the things that I like to focus on the most, which most of you are probably aware of, is that I like making courses and I like teaching. That's kind of my favorite thing to do, and so that's kind of what I've focused on, and that's probably what I'll continue to focus on until I get it like really good. And I want to continue increasing the quality in the content that I produce. And my main goal right now is to move into a real house so that I have space for my studio and all of that, because it's just too much. It's just too tight. It's too small in here. I'm running out of space to even put my drawings and my art supplies. I mean, there's only so much stuff I can fit underneath my bed. Seriously, it's getting out of hand. I mean, I have a painting over there that's just sitting on the floor. I have all these things that I hang up because if I took them down and put them in my drawer, then I literally would have no room. All of this stuff, it's just, it drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. I want to get out of this flat and move into a real house so that I can set up a real studio and produce the quality of content that I have the desire to produce. It's just, you know, it's difficult on my budget. You know, I don't make enough to just do it. I have to wait a long time in order to be able to afford it, and hopefully I will get there, because I need to get there, and I need to get there soon to justify it. I mean, most of you know that I have a degree from I have a degree in math, and I could easily just move back to the United States and teach math and quadruple my income. It would just be that easy. And sometimes it's tempting. Sometimes it's tempting to just go back and be like, oh my gosh, I don't know how much longer I can, you know, sit around and wait for good things to happen. I mean, I'm not there right now. I'm just saying that, you know, when you have that potential, when you have the potential to just, I'm just going to move back to the United States and quadruple my income, most of you probably would have already done it. My guess, you know, you kind of have to just enjoy what you're doing so much in order to not justify doing that. And so far I've not justified doing it for a couple years now, and you know, this year, fortunately, 2018 has been a ridiculously good year for my career and everything, so I have that going at the very least. And so it's easy now. It's easy now to justify not just heading back to the United States and getting a normal person job and working for somebody again, working for the state, most likely. I don't know if I'd do a private school. Could do a private school. I wouldn't mind doing a private school. Make more money usually teaching private school, but how does Anna feel about the States? Honestly, I have no idea. She doesn't have any desire to move to the United States, and I don't either. I don't want to move back. You know, I living in Poland is great. I love living in Poland, but it's that, you know, sometimes I just feel bad that I can't offer more to my wife, you know? Like, if I moved to the United States, she wouldn't have to work. She could just basically be what I am, a stay-at-home spouse. And, you know, I could work, I could teach for a couple years, and then I could just use the money saved up to start my studio over, and then jump back on YouTube and start teaching art again, and most likely have the foundation. I could teach while setting up the foundation of a real studio, and get all of that stuff situated in a way that I just quit my teaching job and then go back to doing art full time, and I wouldn't have to worry as much, and my wife could just work with me, because she's a really creative person, and I mean, she helps me a lot already, just keeping me motivated on a daily basis. But I can't do anything for her right now. And it kind of drives me crazy. Kind of drives me crazy a little bit some days. All right, let's see. 464. You work your tail off and your talent is recognized worldwide. Literally think about that. You are a global art teacher. Just keep going. She believes in you like we do. Thank you very much, Christine. Sometimes I do think about that. Sometimes I do think about the scale in which my art is appreciated, or my teaching is appreciated. Because, I mean, I have several students on Patreon, and every single one of them is in a different country. So, I mean, I'm not degrading my mild success. It's just that I haven't gotten as far as I want to, because I strive to like produce the best. I want to give you the highest possible quality that I can, and not doing so is just it's not being able to. It drives me crazy. I just can't help it. I want to produce the best, and I know that I can produce better than what I am if I just had more space. You know, sometimes when I'm out and about and I see like a building that is open, like a commercial building or something along those lines, I'm like, oh man, I should just rent it. I should just get it for a year and put a studio in there, burn up all of the money that I've saved and just go for it. Just fully commit and go for it. But I can't. I just can't risk it, you know? I feel like it's just too big of a risk for me to rationalize. And so I just kind of daydream about it for a bit, and then it goes away. And then we get into a conversation like this on a live stream, and I mean, I think that I do well for what I am able to do right now. I think that I'm producing the best quality that I can at the level that I'm at right now, and hopefully I can just continue to extend that quality as time goes by and I get closer and closer to reaching certain goals and all of that. But it's so much safer in Poland. Yes, it is definitely safer. Oh no, don't take what I'm saying as that I'm feeling bad. No, I'm not feeling bad. I just, you know, when you feel like there's more you could do, but you just don't have the means to do it, it's just like a, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how to describe it. It's like when you're eating your favorite food and you run out of room in your stomach. It's like, oh, it's so good, but I have no room. It hurts. That's kind of the feeling. But it's not like a negative feeling or anything like that. It's just a desire to want to do more, because I know that I can. I know that things can be better for my channel in terms of quality and all of that. And because I know that, I want to get there now. I want to be there now. I'm tired of waiting. I just want to be there now. That's more of a better way to describe the feeling. Good analogy? Okay. Yeah, I'm usually pretty good at analogies. It's so good, but there's no room. It hurts. Oh, you guys. Oh, gosh. How could I ever complain when I have the best subscribers on YouTube? I've been saying that for the longest time. But seriously, you guys are the greatest. Never cease to make me laugh, make me feel better about everything. One of the other things that has been driving me nuts recently is like, I feel like this constant state of like too many things going on at once. Oh, it's been driving me crazy. It's like my wife and I, we want to move, right? We want to find a new place to live, and I don't know how to look. I don't know how to look for a house here in Poland, and as much as I want to do it like right now, it just feels like we never have any time to start looking for a house, and it's been driving me crazy. It's gonna drive me crazy. And I don't even know what's happening. Like, I don't even know what's going on that's making me feel like there's just so much going on. I mean, partially it's this month. I like this month is just I can do nothing but Inktober in the month of October. So it's like once this is over, it's game on for finding a house, because I really want to find one soon. And at this stage, I almost don't even care what it looks like or where it's at. I just want to get out of this flat. So so we'll never have to have conversations about my upstairs neighbor and whatever he does up there with his gosh darn drills and hammers. I just imagine him with a drill in one hand, a hammer in the other, and just like poking holes with his drill and just smacking the floor just all the time. Once we do get a house, oh gosh, I'm going all in on the studio. I'm going all in on the studio. I already have been thinking about it in my mind. I was like, I want to have a stand-up studio where I have like a drape down canvas set up where I can put up the pastel work that I'm working on, and I want to have 3 cameras. I want to have 3 cameras just for the live streams. Just 3 cameras for the live streams that are controlled with that are MIDI controlled by little buttons on my I can't even think of easel, and I can switch the cameras during the live stream all by myself, and I don't need anybody's help, and I can produce like the best possible live streams imaginable that are interactive, and I have multiple screens for the chat and my reference photo if I need it or whatever. Just so many ideas that are constantly going through my head, and ways to produce better content and make everything just so much better for everybody. Constantly thinking about it. I just realized how close I am to actually being done with my gold bars. I'm gonna slow down a little bit. Maybe you can find a studio space with a loft above it. I don't know if that's even a thing, but sounds perfect. I don't know. I don't really. Well, aren't lofts usually in buildings with other people with lofts? Maybe I'm not entirely sure what a loft is, but I'm pretty sure it requires you, or it not requires you, but I'm pretty sure it refers to a building. Like a condo, you know, you can buy a condo, but you have a neighbor that shares a wall. I don't know why anybody would do that, but they're usually in like larger cities and stuff. I don't know. I want a house. I don't want to share walls with anybody. That's essentially my. What is this color, and why haven't I used it? Where does this color even go? I have this color, but I haven't used it yet. I don't remember using it. Oh well, I'm using it now. Yeah, I could grab some gold leaf. I don't think that it'd work too well with this. I don't have any glue. That's the I don't have any way to adhere it to the paper, unfortunately, right now anyway. Yeah, I could draw my neighbor with his tools making a mess. That would be ridiculous, Shiny, if my neighbor was doing that. I would probably quit YouTube if I found out my neighbor had more subscribers than me and all he did was drill. Yeah, I would quit. I wouldn't even make a video posting. I would just delete my channel. And then I'd move back to America and teach math like a reasonable person. Rather late today, just wanted to say your expensive gold bars are looking good. Oh, well, thank you very much, Lady Marigold. I appreciate that. Talia, I will see you next time. Thank you so much for coming by. Oh, an upstairs apartment above a storefront. Oh, okay, I see. That actually wouldn't be a bad idea. If I could find a place like that, that would be pretty cool, because I could have my studio downstairs where I could also sell things to people in Poland, maybe. That would require a lot more. Maybe I'd just keep it as a studio and I wouldn't open it as a store. Oh, Christine was leaving. Oh, okay. Well, you take care, Christine. I just saw you saying bye. I didn't realize. There's several ways to attach gold leaf. What I've learned in the past is that the actual best way to attach gold leaf is, don't quote me on this, is actually gelatin water, which obviously I'm going to have a problem with being vegan, but you can burnish gold leaf, but you can't if it's been adhered with glue. I don't know a lot about gold leaf. I used it like one time in my life and did some experimenting with it. I put it on a guitar, but I haven't used it in a million years, so it's hard for me to say what to do with the gold leaf. Gelatin water? Why are you just quoting random stuff now? Gelatin water, yeah. You take gelatin, put it in water, mix it till it dissolves, and then what you do is you take a paintbrush, brush that on your paper or your surface or whatever, and then you lay down the gold leaf, let it dry, and it sticks. Not sure why. You know, gold bars have inscriptions on them. Yours are illegal. Yeah, my reference photo has inscriptions on them, but I'm not doing it. Oh, okay, I got you, Talia. I see what you did there. You're hilarious. Okay, thank you, Gina, for coming by. Appreciate you. Yeah, there's words. It says fine gold 999.9, and then 1 kilo net weight. And I was like, I'm not doing that. Screw in inscribing the gold bars. I'm not interested. I didn't want to do words at all. Was not feeling the words, so I just I ignored that bit. I need a darker gray. I don't think this is dark enough. I might actually have to go with black. See how dark I can go here. It feels like it got really dark in my flat just all of a sudden. Oh, hello, Sleepwalker. I'm glad you were able to catch a bit of the live stream today. Yeah, I'm not going to be streaming too much longer because these gold bars are just about finished. They're not as realistic as I was hoping to get, but I still like them. Looking for a color 464. Is that really? Did I like the Venom movie? I did not see the Venom movie, actually. My wife and I have yet to go to the movies. We did have somewhat of a date night the other night that we were supposed to, but unfortunately she still was not feeling up to a movie, so we just grabbed food instead and came home. So I have not yet seen the Venom movie. I'm not entirely sure if I'm looking forward to seeing it because it's gotten so many bad reviews. I have not listened. I've not read any reviews that spoiled the movie, but I just glanced at a few kind of a few reviews that discussed the movie a little bit, and yeah, I'm not feeling too hopeful about it, so I'm going in with really low expectations, and I don't even know if I'm going to be able to see the movie before it exits theaters, because my wife doesn't get sick very often. She's one of those people. I don't get sick all that often, although she may claim otherwise because I make her life miserable when I'm sick. You know, like every husband does to their wife. But when she gets sick, she is just sick for like several weeks or something. And then she's never sick again. She's only sick once a year. Twice if it's a bad year, I guess. But I've seen her sick twice since we've been together. We've been together for 4 years, so yeah. I don't know if it's just my screen, but you're all blurry. Let me just double check my focus really quick. All right. Sometimes I always lock my focus on my camera and everything, but sometimes it does what it wants to. So hopefully that fixed any issues with focus. Otherwise, it's probably just the stream. I have the best I have the best internet that I can get in Poland, but sometimes my stream quality still drops and I don't know why. I never have problem with my internet like doing what it's supposed to do, but when I'm streaming, for some reason my stream quality drops sometimes, and I wish there was something I could do about it, but unfortunately there was not. I think I'm going to add a few sprinkles of white highlight with my pen, and that's going to be it. So if you guys have any last questions, go ahead and ask them now. They look like realistic foil wrapped chocolates. Yeah, if I added some creases where the foil wrapping folds up on the sides, they would look just like that for sure. Yeah. It's real gold. It's real gold. Grab my white gel pen. Have I tried the Pro Markers by Winsor & Newton? I have. I don't know where they're at. I got a really small set from a patron, and I haven't done much with them, but there's not a huge color range in the selection, and with markers, in order to blend markers, you have to have the in-between colors. So I can't just go from this like really light yellow to like this darker brown and expect those two markers to blend, even if I was using Copic markers. Markers just don't work that way. The ink is permanent, and so even though they blend somewhat, they're not gonna blend well. You have to have the in-between colors, which is why like getting a small set of what seems like a random selection of colors never appealed to me, because I know that markers require the in-between colors. So that the markers seem good. I did a test. Oh, it's over in my drawer. I did a small test with them, and they seem to be a decent marker. But I haven't done anything with them with just them by themselves, because I just don't have the color range to make them all that useful. As useful as this full set of markers anyway. That's why earlier I recommended, like, if you were looking to get into markers and you wanted, you wanted something, like what set should you consider getting? You should consider just getting the gray tones, because that gives you the full range of values, and you can learn to blend and learn to control markers with just that small set, and that's going to be more ideal than just a small collection of even 20 randomly assorted colors. Let's see. Can I suggest for future courses to do textures like gold, chrome, water? There are a lot of them on YouTube, but you make it look so easy to understand. You know what? That is a really good idea. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Different material, like the smooth, the reflective, the rough, and all that. That does seem like a good idea. The song on the stream is stuck in my head now. Well, you are welcome. Oh, hello, Miriam. And Lily. Thank you guys for popping in. I'm just finishing up my gold bars here, and then I'm going to be jumping off the stream, unfortunately. I think I'll add a drop shadow. So we got a little bit of time. You guys can keep asking your questions because I am going to finish up these white highlights, and then I am going to throw in a drop shadow. I think that will help the gold bars kind of stand off the page a little bit more if I do that. So that's what I'm going to do. Do I still like your pencil sharpener? No. It's not working. It stopped working. It doesn't even sharpen my graphite pencils. So I think I broke it by using it with my pastel pencils. Pastel pencils are really tough on pencil sharpeners, and I've reverted to sharpening all of my pencils with an X-Acto knife. It just gives me more control, and I don't have to worry about them breaking or anything like that. So that's what I've kind of reverted to. And now that pencil sharpener just sits off to the side. I can't use it for anything. Actually, let's test it out. Let's test it out. I have this pencil that I never use. I'm trying to find a way to break it. There. Now that looks like that. Here's the pencil sharpener. Let's see if that pencil sharpener can even sharpen just a standard 6B pencil. One of the things that I've noticed, it actually did it really well. So this is a bad example, but one of the things that I've noticed is every single colored pencil that I put in that pencil sharpener, it makes it seem like the core is off center. Like for some reason the pencil is not going in perfectly straight. This seems pretty good. This doesn't seem to be too off center. It does seem to have going this way a little bit, but I mean, with my colored pencils, I can't get it to sharpen my colored pencils, and it certainly doesn't sharpen my pastel pencils anymore. I need some gray colors. I'm gonna map out a bit of a drop shadow here. Where's the light coming from? I'll just do it like this. Are you guys leaving? I keep seeing. Glad you enjoyed the stream, Stacy. I'm not quite done yet. I'm gonna throw in a cast shadow. But after this cast shadow, the stream will be over. So it's gonna take me a few minutes to blend the shadow out. So if you guys have any remaining questions, if you want to make the stream longer, get me talking about something. think the gold bars came out relatively good. I think I'm satisfied with it. Yeah. I think they're convincing enough. Would you guys agree? I love you too, Cece. I'll be seeing you soon. Glad you were able to come by and hang out while you're not working. Be careful on the drive. Was late to your stream. We'll watch it later. I really want to learn how to do shiny objects. Well, yeah, I think I mentioned a little bit about shiny objects at the beginning of the stream, and it just goes back to like hitting the dark spots, like getting the dark spots dark. Like that's really what it's all about. Because the darker you get your dark spots, the brighter your highlights appear to be, and that's how you get things to look shiny, by getting everything around it dark. I like the way the shadow is grounding your gold bars. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think it looks better with a drop shadow. I just kind of made up the light source. It actually doesn't really make much sense. This part maybe a little bit, but this part I messed up. I messed up, but it still looks okay. Awesome. Glad you guys like it. That is actually going to be it for today's stream. Relatively long one. When did I start? Oh wow, yeah, I have been streaming for some time. I totally lost track of time. I hope that you guys had fun. I did, and yeah, what is tomorrow's prompt? Let's have a look at tomorrow's prompt. Tomorrow is muddy, so that could be fun. Yeah, tomorrow's prompt is muddy. I will be doing that. I have no idea what I'm doing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this idea for today's prompt, expensive. Remember to post your Inktober prompts in the Unmasked Family Facebook group so that I can share them tomorrow on the stream. And I will see you all tomorrow. Take care. Peace.